Oh, hi. I'm going to lower the volume there a bit. I saw interesting video on YouTube uploaded by somebody who calls himself Someone481. When he picked a record for each year between 1955 and 1969. And I thought, well, that's a good idea. He said in this video that you don't have to make answer videos to this, but, well, I thought, why not? It's a good idea. So I thought I'd pick records from these different years. Vinyl records, only LPs, albums, no compilations. I got quite a lot of comedy albums from those years, but no, not comedy, just music this time. And yeah, and then I have been out to my shelves and picked some different records. The record that represents the first year, 1955, is the one I'm playing in the background. And it's an Atlantic album released in 1955. It's Wilbur de Paris and his New Orleans Jazz on the Black Atlantic label. Very good album, in super condition, even though it's, well, it's how old is it? 56 years old now. Very good, nice jazz music. And okay, that's 1955. What about 1956? Well, more jazz. And this time it's Dave Brubeck and Paul Desmond. This fantasy album. It's a bit worn there, alas, but it's thick cardboard sleeve and a lovely red vinyl. Looks rather worn, but when you play it, it actually sounds very good. Which is often the case with really old vinyl LPs, even though they may look rather awful, they often sound much better than they look. Okay, 1957, and now it's time for Sweden and some more jazz. The great Swedish pianist Bengt Hallberg. This has been one of my favorite Swedish jazz albums for several years. First of all, it's a very good piano jazz. Bengt Hallberg is, was and is a genius. He's still alive, although I'm not sure how active he is these days. And also the sleeve is just marvelous with a young Bengt, let's see, with a young Bengt Hallberg playing piano and the cleaning woman in the background listening. It's released on Philips. Okay. That was 1957. Then 1958, we got here very charming record. Jesse Fowler, jazz, folk songs, spirituals and blues on the Good Time Jazz label. Jesse Fowler is of course mostly known for San Francisco Bay Blues, which is also his most famous record, and that sold the most. This is an earlier one from 1958, and we got versions of Take This Hammer, Tiger Rag, Hesitation Blues, Stagger Lee and other songs, and it's really good, from 1958. Now 1959, back to Sweden, the first Swedish, well, rock star. He was I don't know if he was a rock star, but because he made records in so many different genres and styles, but he was the first person in Sweden who actually had some rock and roll rhythms on his records and some rock and roll style. Although he always sang in Swedish, he's still fairly active. It's a singer and composer called Ove Thörnqvist. This is a compilation. Well, here we go, compilation. But it's a very rare LP album with Ove Thörnqvist, 14 times Ove Thörnqvist, from 1958. no, 59 of the Metronome label. And as I said, he's still alive and I think fairly active. 1960, another favorite of mine, George White, The House I Live In, on an Electra record that I like very much. 1961 then, well, it's time to go to France. And this is, well, it's a super good album, but the sleeve is magnificent. Edith Piaf, Recital 1961. This is one of the most beautiful sleeves I have in my collection. This was released by Columbia in 1961, and oh, well, just look at it. It's real art, real art. Okay, 1962 then. Well, I said I wouldn't have any comedy, but, well, some of the Turnquist songs were quite comical, and the same is with this guy, Chelsea Wolstein, Inside Folk Songs on Atlantic from 1962. Very good, very funny, very a record that you get in a good mood when you listen to it. Okay, now over to a Swedish record that it's... I thought I'm not going to pick all these very famous albums. I haven't got any Beatles here. I haven't got any Elvis here, although I've got lots of records from them from these years. So I thought, well, I'm going to focus on some records that may not be in everybody's collection, and this one definitely isn't. It's a record with a Swedish dancing orchestra called Sören Christensen's Orchestra, with the vocalist Kerstin Dahl. Kerstin Dahl would later be very famous in the group Dolls, and it's a release on Philips. It's recorded live at let's see now, where is it recorded? I read it. So, oh yeah, on Ambassadeur. It's called Ambassadeur by Night. Ambassadeur was a restaurant, and well, the sleeve is very lovely, and it's very good music. And as I said, it's very rare. I haven't seen this record many times. Okay, 64 then. Well, here we go between the different kinds of music styles. Got some jazz again. It's New Orleans Sweet Emma and her Preservation Hall Jazz Band, an orchestra with old jazz veterans. I'm sure that nobody of these guys are still alive today, playing some really good old Basin Street, Clarinet Marmalade, Closer Walk with Thee, Little Liza Jane, with the Saints Go Marching In. It's super record, and it's released on the, which label is this? On the Preservation Hall label. That's from 1964. Well, over to 1965. We got a British artist, but an American release. It's Georgie Fame. Yeah. This record was released with a different sleeve and a different title in England, unless I'm mistaken. I can't remember it now, which was the title. But Yeah is from his big hit from 1965, and this was released on Imperial. I like Georgie Fame though. And over to another British legend, and a very legendary album almost. It's Zoot Money's Big Roll Band, Zoot. I bought this in Luleå a year ago, and well, it's a Columbia release, and it's another one of these records that you get really in a good mood just by listening to. Zoot. From 1966, only 3 years left. Oh, back to Sweden, 1967. There was, and there still is, a Swedish dancing orchestra called Flamingo Quintet, the Flamingo Quintet. They celebrated their 50 years anniversary last year, and even made a new album that was released on vinyl, which is very rare when it comes to Swedish dancing orchestras. But this is their absolutely first album from 1967. It's called Harley Harlow. And what that means, I don't know. But look, they look like real pop stars. They look very right for 1967. I have to say that. It's released on the Gothenburg-based Platina label. Right. We'll continue with some Swedish music. In 1974 we had a big international hit with the orchestra, the pop group Blue Swede, with Hooked on a Feeling. The singer there, Björn Skifs, he is one of the most popular artists in Sweden, and he's still active today, both as a singer and as an actor. But he started his career in a pop group called Slam Creepers. And don't get me started in what Slam Creeper means, because it doesn't mean anything. It just sounds English. It's a Swedish word that sounds English. It's kind of shoes, I think. They made this album. It's their second album, I think, dedicated to Sweet Ruth, manufactured by Slam Creepers, with a singer and organ player, Björn Skifs. Well, I got it here. You may recognize his face here. From 1968, released on the Bill label. Bill. Right then. And for 1969, one of my absolute favorite singers. Her first album, I think, Candi Staton, I'm Just a Prisoner. This is a reissue that I bought a couple of years ago, but never mind, the music is so great. I love Candi Staton, and she's still very good today, still very good. Well, that was my bunch of records from 1955 to 1969. Hope you liked it. Bye bye.